So you've made it in life and you want to reward yourself. Naturally, you'd buy one of these, a supercar. But a supercar usually just seats two persons. What if you want to share a supercar with your kids, your wife, maybe your mistresses? There's this new breed of cars called the performance SUVs, or super SUVs. Today, we get to drive one. Let's find out whether it checks out, or are they just flash in the pan?
Download the official WapCar app on Apple App Store and Google Play Store now.
So onto the exterior styling of the DBX. Well, you can see the signature grille. This is apparent in all modern Aston Martins. Moving on to the LED headlamps. These are bi-LEDs, very bright. Then down to the LED daytime running lights. They also double up as indicators. Here you can see there's a vent here, and on the side fender. They are all functional. Right, moving on to the sides, the wheels. These are 22-inch wheels and they are wrapped around with Pirelli P0s. And look at how massive these 6-spot brakes are. Right, so stopping the car isn't a problem. And then moving away from the car is just my favorite angle of the car, which is a side profile. It really looks sporty from this angle. The side profile really does it for me. So as you open the doors, there is this mechanism Aston Martin calls the swan wing doors. What it means is it opens upwards at an angle to prevent curbing of the lower part of the door. This is very thoughtful, and this is something only Aston Martin does. So moving on to the rear end, well, let's start from the top. You have this very nicely integrated spoiler up top, and it flows down really nicely to this ducktail spoiler. The rear end, you can see, is clearly inspired by the Vantage, right? Integrates nicely with the brake lights as well, you see? And it flows all the way down to this very nice bumper and twin exhaust exits for your twin turbo engine. In terms of boot space, you have 632 liters for all your luggage needs. You can even fit a golf bag here. Well, another cool thing about this car is above this Aston Martin inscription, you have that winged Aston Martin logo, right? This logo is made by a 200-year-old company called Vortens, and they've been making Aston Martin badges since the 1960s. That's craftsmanship right there. So right off the bat, what I really like about this car, three things. The seating position is superb. You feel like you're driving a sports car, not an SUV. Second thing, the build quality. This stitching right here, Alcantara on the headliner, it's high quality. Third thing, spacious. There's a lot of storage space. Look at the gubbins here. Glove box, center console, and even this bit here. Very well thought out. Dislikes. Well, first of all, this pedal shifters here, they're fixed to the column, not the steering wheel. Not very smart, right? Second thing, this layout right here, the infotainment and the gear selector. First, it's not a touchscreen, and the gear selection is a bit out of reach for me, right? Third, not a big fan of this blue interior color. Fortunately, you can customize this, being an Aston Martin, all the finishes and the color of the interior. So at the rear, the space is equally generous. This is my usual driving position, and I'm 176 cm tall. Legroom, 2 and a bit more tennis balls. Headroom, 1 tennis ball and more, right? Beyond that, you get aircon vents here, and the party piece. You get vented seats at the rear. They are heated and for cooling as well. You don't really usually get vented seats at the back, but this car has it. Wonderful. So I'm just gonna come out and say it out loud before the inevitable happens. Electrification will take over the world and there will be no more internal combustion engines. V8s are the best, right? This one here is a 4-liter M177 from the house of AMG. So the boffins of AMG has just, this is a brilliant engine. Brilliant engine. It's smooth, it's creamy, it's responsive, right? I'm sure you have read about it before in other AMG cars, but in this Aston Martin DBX, it's just as good, you know. And the 9-speed gearbox, I'm in GT mode now. This car has multiple driving modes, and this GT mode is basically the adaptive one. It feels relaxed, it feels very long-limbed, and it's just a brilliant car to cruise in. Visibility is good, your driving position is good. You sit in the car as opposed to on it, so it feels like a proper sports car, this one. You don't feel like it's a very tall car. It is a bit raised. I have to talk a bit about the driving experience, specifically the character of this car's powertrain. As you know, the 4-litre V8 has roots within AMG, and it shows. This V8 is very characterful. It sounds fruity when you need it to, but when you want it to be quiet, it is whisper quiet. I'm cruising now, 90 kilometers per hour. You know, 9-speed gearbox just helps the car cruise very well. And you know, if you compare it to the competitors, for example, the Bentley Bentayga, both 4-litre V8s, but this one has a bit more character. You know, so now if you drop a gear or two, whoa, it sounds so much better than the Bentayga. However, you know, the Bentayga probably does that whole high-speed cruising in a more effortless manner. This car is a bit more agile, a bit more pointy, you know, and I think Aston Martin meant it to be that way with the DBX. So in GT mode, this car is no more difficult to live with than your average family SUV or sedan. You know, the steering is light in GT mode, the throttle response is relaxed, everything is just very easy to live with, right? There's entering this stretch of road is a bit more bumpy, and even on 22-inch wheels, you know, I think it rides impressively well for something that is this big, this large, and this heavy. Oh, it sounds good. Now it probably sounds good. Pops and crackles on the overrun. Impressive. So the whole car just tightens up, and oh, it's a lot of traction, a lot of grip out of the corners, you know. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Overall, does this Aston Martin DBX scream as much presence as a conventional supercar? Well, it's the perfect solution for those wanting a sports car, but in a more practical package. It's sexy, shouty, powerful, drives very well. With this DBX, despite all the luxuries inside, it still doesn't hide away its sporty character. Unlike the Bentley Bentayga, which is a chauffeur-driven SUV, the DBX is sporty, sharp driving, yet it retains all its elegant appearance. If you ask me, the DBX is the perfect family car for Agent 007.
As always, thank you for watching. It's Jason from WapCar. We'll see you in the next video.